It was hard to watch this new episode with Bodhi standing there next to all the marijuana plants and not have flashbacks to Dylan guarding all those plants on Bates Motel. So I have to assume that was an intentional nod.
Well, and so I'm going to go one level deeper here.
I think I know where you're going.
With W. Earl?
No.
Mickey's dad?
Oh, was he
Mickey's
he
dad.
Was.
Mickey's dad
Yes.
is who we bought the motel from.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking like...
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, like, also Dylan, his partner, like, went on he was killed and Dylan had to bring him in, and that, the same thing with the rattlesnake. So I was thinking, like, from that perspective.
No. It's W. Earl Brown is the one who owned the motel that Norman and Norma purchased. And like set off the whole thing in the beginning. It's crazy.
So that has to be intentional, but why did it take you, like, did you want to take maybe a few seasons before you did kind of nods to your career for fans like me who, like, loved you, Bates Motel, Nancy Drew?
Well, I don't know if I've done any Nancy Drew nods yet in Empire Country.
We still have time.
I'm getting my, I'm going to get my sleuthing kit out here soon. You know, the show's centered in Northern California, you know, in our version of a Humboldt County, like county, and like marijuana is really the industry and has been for a long time, and so we're back to it. We're back to some of those Bates ways again.
And so I know, correct me if I'm wrong, Freddy Highmore is also coming to direct. So what was that reunion like, and would he ever appear on screen maybe for an official on-screen Bates Motel reunion for us?
I don't know, you know. I mean, I have nothing official to speak of as far as Freddie acting, but he did come. He directed episode 18, which was really exciting. You know, obviously for the two of us to get to Freddie and I are really we're like brothers in real life, and you know, since we finished Bates, I was gone to LA. He had actually been in Vancouver the whole time, doing The Good Doctor, but you know, we miss getting to work together, and although like different, it was just fun to get to come together and work on something. And he was just like, he was so excited to be able to come and do it, and like same to work together again. And you know, Freddie directed when I was on Bates as well, but like I hadn't worked with him as a director since then, and I haven't worked with him as an actor since like the end of Bates. So it was a really, really great time, and thankfully it caught him when he had a little window of time to be able to get him in there. And I'm excited because Freddie's like maybe the smartest person that I know. So he's really talented and can do anything and everything, and he approaches everything from like a different sort of a different way than most other people do, like acting, directing, you know, a lot, just because of how cerebral he is. But a great time. We'll see. Maybe one day he'll appear. I don't know if it's here or somewhere else, but I know the two of us really want to work together on camera again. Are there any other co-stars from your past projects that you're maybe eyeing to make appearances? Yeah, I mean, there's, you know what, I've been really, really fortunate, like over the years, to not only have worked with like really incredible actors, but also some really just straight up wonderful people that I would love to be able to work with again. And you know, there's at least one or two people in the last two shows that I've done that I would love to get over here somehow in some capacity. And speaking of people who you actually got to come over already, how did the Jelly Roll kind of cameo come about? Did he reach out? Did you? Was it always the plan for him to be involved as someone who works at the memory care facility? I think I reached out first. He was finishing drying his hands with a towel in the bathroom at the CMTs. Bold move. So we met. I ran into him in the bathroom, like straight up at the CMT Music Awards. I'm walking in, he's walking out, and I stopped and I looked at him and I was like, hey man, and he was like, hey, he's like, well, big fan. I was like, oh, big fan. And we like did this thing, and he's like, hey, I said thank you for letting us have some of your songs on the show. Yeah. Like, it's been awesome. And he's like, dude, he's like, well, like how do I get on the show? Like, I really want, like, I've been like petitioning online and like talking to like my people and my publicists, and be like, you got to get me on that show. It's like, what, you know, it's about like what I really represent. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. I was like, but like, you know, I was like, Joe, you know, I can probably get you on the show. He's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, dude. Like, what do you want me to do? What do I need to do? And so he was like, I'll call you tomorrow. And I was like, all right. And I was like, okay, whatever. And sure enough, calls me the next day, and which was big because it showed how sincere he was, and you know, he's gonna walk the walk. And they really kind of just kept following up about it, and we worked on coming up with a character that we all thought would be interesting and unique and special, and you know, still tell, you know, some of the story and you know, this second chances like idea and what he really represents, but also feel different from who he is and sort of how people see him day to day as a country singer. We got it all worked out, and it's pretty awesome.
You also had Kane Brown on the show. So which country singers are next on your wish list? Is this like a collect them all situation for you?
Well, I don't know. I gotta wait for the next award show, and I'm just gonna set up a stool in the bathroom, start greeting them as they come in. And
so I have to talk about just plot points, because Bodhi is dating Audrey right now, but obviously we have this connection with Gabriella that's still there. As the actor, how do you differentiate? Like, did you want to differentiate how you play Bodhi's scenes with the both of them, so that there's like an obvious difference in his connections with them?
You know, I think they really connect like on different levels, right? I think that that there was sort of just this like magnetism between Bodhi and Gabriella when they first saw each other, and they were sort of just like drawn to each other, and you know, you could kind of see them like discovering, I don't know, like sort of having this weird like discovery moment, even like at the car, moving around, trying to figure out who are you and who am I, and I can, you know. And then with Audrey, it's like he knows, you know, they started off on completely the opposite, the opposite end of things, where she was really his like adversary for a while, and you know, and pretty like crude and intense, but I think that also sort of challenged him in a different way. And you know, they really started off as like friends first, and then I think started realizing that maybe, oh, like I like you, but I don't just like you, I like you. So certainly, yeah, I think you know, for the relationships to feel different, like I don't know, you gotta find those little nuances that make the relationships different.
And so after briefly exploring Bodhi and Gabriella as a real couple, the show did pull back. So is that the plan for the rest of the season? Like, what's the balance of committing but also building them as individuals before we can hopefully get to see them get back together? Yeah,
I mean, I think, you know, clearly I think the first 3 seasons, and I know one of them was like sort of cut short, so I think things ended up being sort of fast-tracked through that, but it's a fine balance, right? It's like we've told a lot of story up until this point, and I think, you know, it's the balance between telling too much story and not having enough meat on the bone, and figuring out how much time you can draw some of this stuff out. And so I think the characters have earned, you know, their space in the way that they both are at a point in their lives where they're discovering a lot about who they are, and you know, independently. And you know, I think we feel like it's important to also like not just keep going back and forth all the time and looking like the two of them are constantly waffling. So it's a tricky thing. You know? Relationships are tricky, and you know, developing them for a long period of time on television is even trickier.
And also when you have a successful show like Fire Country, you have a lot of fans who have a lot of opinions. So I'm curious, how tuned in are you to fan reactions? Like, do you want to seek them out, or do you like not want to know what they're saying as the show is coming out? So like maybe not influence your creative storytelling?
I think both, weirdly enough. I like hearing what people think. And how they're feeling about stuff. Nice to kind of take the fans' temperature once in a while. That being said, I also, don't mean this in a bad way, but sometimes think that the fans, in a way, like we're one step ahead in a certain way. Like, you know, even in the things that we do, we go, oh, you're gonna hate this person at first, or oh, you like this person now, but you're probably gonna hate him really soon. And you know, so you know, it's a little inside baseball, right? But it's still nice to sort of take the temperature and see like how people are feeling about certain things. But more than anything, it's nice to just know that people are that invested in the show, and they care enough to make their voices be heard.
And so you have so many spin-offs in the works or potentially in the works. Is it almost harder for you to like not think of new ideas? Like, do you always have moments where you envision how to expand the universe or maybe introduce something new? Because I know I was watching this week's episode and they said something about a lawyer and I'm like, Law Country. Like immediately I was like, that's the next one. So is that hard for you, or is it just...
I know there's a limit to the amount of countries we can have. So, and I think there's also a certain point, right, where it's like quality over quantity. And so the most important thing is that we're always nurturing, one, fire country, but now two, sheriff country, and making sure that they are getting all the attention that they should be getting, so that the audience gets what they deserve. And so that's, to me, the most important thing. But outside of like the fire country universe, my wheels are always turning. Sometimes to a fault. It's like, I don't know.
Well, I love what you're creating. So even if it's not fire, like not country, maybe something else, like I will be sitting and watching.
Now we're going city.
And so I'm also curious, is there any...
Fire in the city.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Is there any CBS series you want to cross over with that isn't in the universe? Like, I'm a big fan of Tracker, and I was watching it the other night, and I'm like, that could be a good kind of Justin Hartley with you.
Yeah. No, for sure. That could be fun. We haven't had any of those conversations, and but no, I get that. Justin and or Jensen, who pops up over there once in a while, and
complete the supernatural.
That's right. Get the supernatural trifecta. Go get Misha.
Exactly.
I don't know Misha, but yeah.